Welcome back and welcome to my submission for the bowl without a lathe challenge. Thank you Keith Brown, Rag and Bone Brown, thank you for putting this on. Awesome fun little challenge, and a link to Keith's channel in the description below in case you're not already following Keith, but I would imagine you would be following Keith because otherwise you wouldn't know about this challenge unless you've come. This is a period piece and it's made from MDF on the edges just to keep the edges waterproof in case you want to put wet stuff in the bowl, and if you want to put dry stuff in the bowl it's non-MR on the bottom. And we've got a couple of screws just for storage, and we've got some screws here. Those are mainly to break the MDF. I've put an attractive bead of caulk around the inside edge of the piece, and I've added some burn marks just on the back. It's all held together with brad nails and Titebond 2 wood glue, and I'm only joking. I do occasionally make stuff that isn't out of MDF, you know. So I found a piece of Spanish chestnut and I've made a bowl out of that. If you're thinking, well, bowls have to be round, well, this isn't round and it says bowl. And to be on the safe side as well, I changed the definition of bowl on Wikipedia so that bowls can now be square or rectangular as well as round. So not sure how long that edit will last. So I've had this piece of Spanish chestnut knocking about in the workshop for the last year or so, and I've been looking for the perfect little project for it, really. It's a bit gnarly, this block of wood, so I had to plane off one of the corners just to vaguely get it slightly flat. My plane skills are nowhere near good enough to get that down to any kind of dimension, so I need to use some machinery. So I've screwed on a piece of MDF just to get one straight edge, which I've then ran the whole thing through the bandsaw, and then once I've got one straight edge, then I can run the other side through to get the other side vaguely straight as well. I've done a similar thing and screwed a piece of MDF onto the thin edge to then try and get a flat, tall edge, if that makes sense. So this is really what's dictated the width of what I'm making here, is the height of my bandsaw. I could then take it over to the planer, run it through the planer a couple of times. Unfortunately, this is when it knocked off one of the live edges and there wasn't a lot I could do about that, but the other live edge was fine, but it was already loose. I knew that was going to fall off. And then I could run it through the thicknesser. It took a lot of passes through the thicknesser to get it even vaguely flat, but you can see how much material's coming off there. But that pretty much got it all dimensioned up into a vaguely rectangular block. I've then just headed over to the table saw just to really tidy up the edges, because the bandsaw, although it's straight-ish, it doesn't leave it as straight as I can get it on the table saw. And then, now that I've got everything kind of dimensioned, I'm just roughing out a vague kind of shape of what I need to hack out in the middle of this to turn it into a kind of bowl shape. So I've got an idea. I want to tape it in at the edges. I want to keep the one live edge on what will be the right hand side. The left hand side will be kind of live-ish edge, but it won't have the bark on. And as I say, I'm just marking out the material that I'm going to have to remove. So then over to the Saburrtooth donut wheel, which is a 4-inch donut wheel, medium grit, 7/8 inch bore on it, and it's basically designed to go onto an angle grinder so you can remove a lot of material. It's designed for an operating speed of 4,000 to 25,000 RPM apparently. I'll include a link in the description to this fantastic thing. It still took a long time to remove all of that material. I've never used one of these before, so you'll just have to kind of bear with us here because it was a bit of a learning curve. I got the hang of it in the end, but they're not easy to use, these things, if you've ever used one before. I found it removed a lot more material if I did lots of little short passes across the grain. If you went along the grain, it just didn't remove that much material, so it took a lot longer. But it did the job. I just took my time and just gradually ate away at the inside of the bowl shape to get it to the right size. It took a good couple of hours to get that all hacked out. There was so much dust in the workshop, unbelievable. Then back to the bandsaw, just to kind of rough out the main shape of the bowl. So I'm just taking the edges off. And then over at the table saw, just to put a 30-degree angle on the bottom. So on the long edges I can do that on the table saw. For the curves at the edges, I'm going to do that on the bandsaw. So I'm going to set the bandsaw up to match the same angle. And then I'm just going to rough out the shape of what I'm cutting and then just knock those 30-degree corners off. And then back to the Saburrtooth again to hack more material away from the bottom edges to get a bit of a curve on, and also tidy up that live edge where the bark fell off. And again, much easier using this on outside curves rather than inside curves. You've got to be careful because in this kind of scenario it does remove a lot of material very, very quickly, so you have to be quite gentle with it. And then a quick brush up with a wire brush on the live edge, just to tidy that up. Just wrapping up some sandpaper around a tennis ball here, just to sand out the inside edges. That took such a long time. And then onto the outside edges, which I'm using a combination of my bigger 150mm sander, which I've got quite a coarse grit on, and then I've got a finer grit on my 125mm, both random orbits, and this really got a pretty good finish on everything. Again, took a good couple of hours to do all of the sanding, but I'm pretty pleased with the finish, nice and smooth. And now stenciling the black lettering onto it. This was actually quite tricky because the stencils are flat, and getting the brass stencils to fit to the shape of the bowl is a little bit tricky. I just had to do it letter by letter, but it worked in the end. A little bit of overspray, but I managed to get rid of most of that with a bit of wire wool, and I didn't want it looking that new either, so I went over the whole lot with the wire wool, the steel wool, just to kind of knock it back a bit so the writing wasn't quite as in your face, otherwise it was very kind of black. And then final stage is the fun bit, get some Osmo oil on. Just started off with the live edge bit, get plenty of oil into that. I find this Osmo oil just gives a beautiful satin finish once it's all dry. Really, really hard wearing. What I'll probably do is I might do a second coat of this, but it takes quite a long time for this oil to harden properly, so that'll be a little while before I do the second coat. enjoyed this. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. I do generally work more with MDF than Spanish Chestnut, but it's been really good fun doing this. Obviously, please subscribe to everyone else who's taken part in this challenge as well. It's been really good fun, especially to Keith Brown over at Rag and Bone Brown. Make sure you subscribe to him. Thank you so much, Keith, for setting this challenge up. It's been great fun, and it's taken me out of my comfort bubble of MDF for once. Catch you next time.